airplanes, everything expected and straight. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences, dear brothers, sisters, my fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. So today, still, join me is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. As a dear friend to the community and a political commentator, but above all, he claims to be a very constitutional man. So we take his word for granted. Let's see how constitutional he is.
That's true.
All right, very good. Speaking of constitution, though, we are talking about equality. Equality means women, men, women, old, young, black, white, whatsoever colors you may be.
Sure.
We're all equal, right?
We are.
Yeah.
But
So we appreciate the fact that we're equal, and we fight against any wrongdoing or wrong saying with the equal amount of strength or power to make sure that we understand we're equal, right?
Well, that's fair, but also we cannot eliminate the freedom of speech, which is our, like, you say to me, Ken, I think you're an ugly white guy. You have that right to do that, and I have that right to say, thanks, Jack, I'm glad you noticed. Because we cannot, that's what's happening here, where the radical left want to intimidate people into silence, and it's not working. But it's working with a lot of people. It doesn't work with me, because I'm not afraid of the truth and my ability to express my opinion. So, and then equality is something, but what is equality? We're not all equal.
Let's not go for too far, though.
Yes, boss.
Let's not go too far.
Okay.
We're talking about the recent death numbers.
Okay, that's
Right.
fair.
When
Great.
they do the statistics of the death numbers, they inserted a color page to it,
Yeah.
saying that the colored people, Latinos, they have a higher rate.
Yeah.
Is
In
that
relation, yeah.
is that so, or is that true?
Very much in relation to the virus, okay?
Yeah.
Very much true. And the reasons are, it has nothing to do with racism. It has to do with lifestyle and financial abilities. So, unfortunately, our beautiful African American community, our Latino community and all that, probably on the average have a lower income level than some other groups because of education and whatever, although everybody's got an opportunity to exceed, and there's so many quote minorities that have come from poverty into total prosperity, because this is America and there's an opportunity. There's no caste level, okay? If you're born poor, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to stay there at all. So what's happening, it's really quite a bit with the African American community and Latinos, because of their diets and somewhat less financial strength, causes, maybe not as great a quality diet, or maybe not taking care with exercise or whatever the same. There's more underlying effects, medical impacts like obesity, what's the insulin take care of? Underlying aspects and then when you've got age going over 55 or 65 or something, and you have underlying medical issues, that's where the people primarily die. So it has nothing to do with the color of your skin.
I agree with you.
It has to do with immunity.
Yeah, I agree with you with only the fact that poverty leads to
everything.
more health conditions.
Yes, sir. That's the essence.
Such as diabetes.
Yes, diabetes. Right. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I was
Such
looking for.
as what is the
well, blood pressure or hypertension.
hypertension,
Yeah.
blood pressure, stuff like that?
A lot of
heart,
issues.
or heart disease, right?
Yes, sir.
What I do not agree with is that does poverty have anything to do with personal hygiene?
No, I don't think so. Now, maybe, like I have a friend, okay, a very nice friend, and she's a Chinese girl. She owns a business here, and she's very wealthy and everything. Her mom lives in China, and in her mom's house, they don't really have a bathtub or a shower. And she says, oh, my mom's dirty all the time. She doesn't know how to clean herself. She doesn't do a good job of her own hygiene. So part of hygiene comes with the opportunity to have, now in America, pretty much people have a shower or a tub that they can get clean in. Now, you need your parents to teach you the hygiene growing up, and maybe sometimes in single parent homes or something, maybe there's not as much focus on that. But hygiene, like you say, washing your hands, Jack, they're saying wash your hands 20 times a day.
I mean the basic hygiene.
Yeah, basic
hygiene.
We have to learn it. You're not born with basic hygiene.
I know.
So you need to be taught that.
But for example,
Yeah.
Regardless you're black, you're white,
Right.
washing hands is a phrase that everybody understands,
Yes, they do.
right?
Right.
So cutting your nails, everybody understands.
Well,
Stuff like that.
for example,
right?
not everybody
So
takes care of their teeth the same
why would
way.
have anything to do with the poverty? That is my question.
Well, probably poverty-ridden people that have that challenge, maybe they haven't been educated enough on the value and benefits of hygiene. Maybe their parents didn't teach them. Maybe their neighborhood didn't teach them. But I would say in America, most people take a shower, take a bath. Now, not everybody can afford to go to a dentist, okay? So, not everybody brushes their teeth twice a day. And not everybody is really able to go to doctors, or their attitude is, I'll be okay. Not everybody has an early detection for various medical issues.
They go to doctors only when they have a big problem.
Right, yeah. And
Right.
early detection is everything.
On the,
I would have been dead
on
from
the
cancer.
day-to-day prevention basis, they do poor, right?
Well, possibly.
However, there's one thing I would have to mention, which is culture related.
Yes, sir.
I hate to use the word racial related.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Culture's
culture.
different, yeah.
Culture related.
I agree with that.
Living habits. I mean, eating habits.
Yeah.
Right. American way is that you have your serve, I have my serve.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah. You like your food? Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
Right.
And I like my food.
Yeah.
Something like that. And in the Asian way, in Chinese way, for example.
Yes, sir.
They share something in the middle.
Right.
Everybody
Yeah.
takes in from the same pot.
I've been at many of those round tables, yeah. The food's going by and grab something.
And then even, like say, the Mongolian hot pot.
Yeah, right. Famous.
Right. You think after the pandemic, things will change?
I hope not. Because here's what's happened. We're developing the knowledge that it's a very low mortality rate. Okay, like I say, 2 or 3 out of 1,000 may die. And also back to the schools, like it'd be 1 out of hundreds of thousands of kids that will die from the virus. Okay, so put kids back together in schools. The virus is no reason to keep them out of schools, and then maybe you don't need to. You don't need to sit 6 feet apart for the rest of our life. It's ridiculous.
What if we
I'd go to hug people.
What if we do put everybody together?
Yeah.
And then we put a more restriction to temperature check, to the swab check,
Well,
or something like that.
Yeah.
To find you find out one, you take care of one.
that's fine.
Like that.
You're saying testing, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more and more testing. Eventually, we'll have a lot of people tested. But for example, I think it's a waste and absolutely foolish to try to take a 8-year-old's temperature going into class. those kids aren't going to die of it. Okay, they got a much better chance of dying of the flu or getting hit by a car walking to school.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, there's been a big increase in people killed that are hit by cars because there's been less cars driving around and they're driving faster and they've hit more people. It's very sad, okay? I mean, it's actually really sad. A lot of the accidents now are from cars hitting people.
In other words, in conclusion, we think we can say things are to be changed, but we only change the part that needs to be changed.
That really, in the main thing is to protect the at-risk people, the elderly with underlying deals. And if you protected all the nursing homes to the extent you can, with the best hygiene and separation, all that stuff, I mean, we'd be down 40% in the death count. I mean, because it's that simple.
All right.
That's where they
right.
die.
All right, let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue right away, please.
Senator Brown said everything was expected and straight. It's like the same John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News here in the morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, brothers, sisters. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West with my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a political commentator, a book writer, CPA, a lover to the community, a fighter to the pandemic, everything. We're talking about the pandemic. And into the pandemic, we have gone through a major part of it already.
We have.
Yeah, we are almost seeing the light through the tunnel.
It's there.
We're going out of tunnel already.
Yes, sir.
And in the very beginning, I was so worried about homeless people.
Very good point. So was
Yeah.
I.
And with my friend Joe Gardner, I had two
Yes.
shows
I love him.
specifically talking about my concern, his concern,
Yeah.
and everybody else's concern
Yeah.
about how we want to protect those folks there. Now that they are homeless, not only are they vulnerable, they are contagious.
Well, it's a very contagious
They're easy
disease.
to be carrying the virus, right? So, what happens to the whole thing as a result? Though, we don't see lots of homeless dying.
You know, you're right.
What
Because
happened?
I don't see any articles on the homeless
what
dying.
functions in the whole area?
Well, you know,
Do you
maybe
know that?
because see, the homeless are normally kind of around each other, okay, and that can be. I'm sure they're not on the average washing their hands as much as people want them to, but I think their herd immunity is coming into this because they're all together, and when there's so many together, that's what they call it, herd immunity, that everybody gets a little bit of something. A lot of them have had it but don't have any symptoms. Now, I don't have any proof of that, but that's what people say. And I keep looking for that, and like they haven't relocated tons of homeless into other places. Okay, they haven't done that, and so, yeah, because I had that fear.
Exactly, they have. On the contrary, they have done a lot.
Okay.
Take LA County, for example.
Okay, and Joe would know about that.
I'm so glad. What I'm so glad with the LA County Health Department is that in the very early stage, they did spend quite a few efforts on this whole area.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with exactly what
they put them in hotel rooms.
Well, they have done that, but one thing horrible, in my opinion, they've done is they're giving them free alcohol and drugs to keep them in their room happy.
Oh, no.
They are doing
that's
that.
not right. That's
but they're
not
doing
right.
it. Yeah, it's real sad. It's really like ridiculous, okay? So all I have to do is pretend I'm homeless and I can sit, get a room, and it's to try to, their whole purpose is to not spread the immune.
The positive thing is that they did put them, number one, they separated them from the main society.
Correct.
That's one thing.
Right.
So you guys come over
like
here.
Like the nursing homes.
Yeah. And then put them into either hotel rooms or separation centers or so,
Right.
so on and so forth,
Right.
or whatever,
Yeah.
to have them quarantined
Yeah.
within a certain circle.
Yeah.
Right. You mentioned about drugs or alcohol
Oh,
or
the state's
whatsoever.
providing that free to these people.
Probably that's just from the temporary measure to keep them happy.
Well, once you're addicted, it's hard to become unaddicted. I mean, they're passing out drugs to these people in alcohol. And,
But one thing for sure that I'm so happy that my concern, my worry,
yeah.
in the very early days,
Yeah.
did not happen.
It didn't happen to the extent I would have guessed. Right.
And on the contrary, we see lots of
Yeah.
elderly nursing centers.
Yeah.
They reported a lot of death.
Totally. In 4 governors in other situations have forced nursing homes to receive COVID-19 patients that have tested positive, and you put it in with the vulnerable people, or the older people with underlying medical conditions. And about half the people in New York that have died in nursing homes. And it's a tragedy. The governors, I don't think they did it on purpose.
Does
but
that mean?
they did it?
Does
and
that
we have
mean? Does
deaths.
that mean, given the same kind of care, underlined aged people are more vulnerable?
Well, the older with underlying medical issues
The older
are the number
underlying
one.
medical people.
Right, they're
with
at
age,
the greatest risk, and they've had the greatest percentage of deaths.
given
And-
the same
yeah,
care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Because say you each get say a healthy 45-year-old person and then a 82-year-old person with underlying medicals, they both get the same virus. The older one's going to be the one more probable to die. But again, still, even in the older community with underlying medical, it's still not a huge percent that's dying, but most of the deaths are coming out of that. Yeah, it's very sad.
It came out as the contrary. I used to
Very
think
sad.
about the younger people, the age, the more the vulnerable.
Not at all. Totally the opposite.
Not at all. Right?
Not at all. Not even close. And don't forget, I mean, the chances of getting, we got 340 million people in America. The chances of getting it, maybe we've had 500,000 people get it or something, but there's been a lot more than that got it, and then it goes away, and we never know they had it. They never know they had it. That's why with the testing, we'll be able to find out more people that had it and recovered from it and didn't know they even had it. And that goes into
But
the
they may have
denominator, so
developed
the
the
death rate is,
antibody.
there's probably been in the millions that have really had it,
They
and it
have,
just disappears.
I mean, they may have already developed the antibody.
In their body, yes.
the
That's why
body,
they
in the
check for
systems,
antibody.
yeah.
Yeah, right. You're exactly right on that.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so much for that, though. How much do you know, or how much do you want to share with me about the quote-unquote Obamagate?
We could talk about this for the rest of our lives.
Is that much?
Jack, the Obama administration, we had 3 years investigating a Russia collusion with the Republican Party to impact the election. There was zero in many of these Democrats, Adam Schiff #1, and Brennan, and all of these, and the people in the FBI and that actually just created a false crime that never happened. Right now, Grinnell, who's just been replaced with a new intelligence department chief, released the phone conversation or conversations that General Flynn had with the Russian Zelensky, Russian ambassador to America. And it's just like the conversation that Trump had with the Ukrainian guy. There was nothing in there, and they were trying to make a big crime out of that, and they impeached the president over that, and there was no reason, there was absolutely nothing to it. So it's been nothing but hatred but this is the first time we've had a president and Joe Biden, okay, and this all goes back to a January 5th, 2016 meeting in the Oval Office, where there were about 8 or 10 people, all of which were involved in, they were supposed to close the Flynn obligation. The FBI concluded there was nothing wrong on January 4th. On January 5th, struck one of the really evil person in the FBI said, no, let's not close it, let's keep it open, and let's see if we can make a crime out of this. It was a tragedy. Never in American history has a sitting president, in this case President Obama, been involved in trying to disallow a candidate from another party being elected president. Trump got elected, and that after he was elected, participated in these schemes, and they call it a bloodless coup, which they're trying to do anything to get President Trump out of office. It is the biggest scandal by 1,000% in American history. We've had some bad people do some naughty things, but our whole election process, and we have all of this information. And
when they say, when they use the term of Obama Gate,
Right.
when they use the term gay though,
Right.
which part do they refer?
well, you know,
They refer the fact that they investigated the thing?
Well, it's back to Watergate. That's from where they broke into a condo. There was Russiagate was the thing. This was just like we say the Wuhan virus, because that's where it started. This Obamagate is President Obama was knowledgeable and involved. It certainly contributed to continually doing illegal and inappropriate actions and lies to try to get President Trump destroyed. He's failed, and now they're all in shame. The media won't share the shame. History will share the shame. So it's never, I can't conceive of people doing these kind of things. You're not American. You're not respecting the Constitution. You have no integrity and ethics and decency in your soul if you have a coup to try, you know, like around the world, there's been coups, military coups, you know, in Africa and South America and every place, all kinds of coups where they go in and they shoot the president and take it over, okay? Here, it's a nonviolent, but just as evil attempt with no foundation of any crime whatsoever done by the president. There was no collusion with Russia. The collusion, Hillary's money paid for the dossier, that Steele, was all disinformation from related to Russian activities, and it was just all purely. It just shows they would do anything in the world, any lie in the world. Comey has to be one of the most evil people, certainly the most evil that ran the FBI, because he was right there setting up, trying to bring Flynn down for doing nothing. So it's a human tragedy. It's a tragedy in American history. Hopefully it will be written properly as time goes on, and it will be. These people whose reputations now, all the way, and believe me, in the campaign with Biden, this is going to come up big time. Biden says, I knew nothing about it. Well, we have proof. He was in the office, Oval Office, you know, with Obama in about 8 or other people talking about it. And so he can't deny it.
Okay, thank you so much for explanation on that.
It's serious.
Let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue because we have a lot here that we need to talk about, all right? Okay. So stay with us, please.
Everything expected to straight. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends. My lovely audience, welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with my friend, dear Mr. Ken Hemming. We're talking about some issues. We're rushing ourselves to include as much as we can.
Yeah, we are.
On the subjects that accumulated over the weeks, right? Okay, now, Republican Convention seems to be a big subject.
Huge.
Right? So it's scheduled for June, right?
August.
August?
August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let us know something about it, please.
Okay, it's scheduled for August in Charlottesville, North Carolina. And it's a state that Trump loves. Of course, I've heard President Trump properly say I love that state, I love this state, he loves every state. But he's the president. He should love every state, right? So, but now here, and they have a governor there in North Carolina that is a Democrat. The lieutenant governor is a Republican, and he's going to be running against him to take over the governorship. But, so the governor is one of those that is trying to slow the opening of the state and control it to negatively impact the economy, doesn't care about the impact on the people, they're without jobs and that. But, so President Trump has said, look, we have to know, we have to have the assurance that we have about 50,000 people coming to the convention. I wish we were two of them, coming to the convention, that they have to put millions of dollars into these big stadium and all the facilities for that. It's a huge thing to plan a convention. And then if the governor says, oh, you can only bring in 10,000 people or 50 people. Well, so Trump has now said, we need to know within a week whether you will guarantee that we will have full access that we want to the facilities for the convention. Otherwise, we're going to another state. Now, right now, Georgia, Florida, and another state come to our state, okay? And let me, like, Florida's great. It's a great state. But he likes North Carolina. And my prediction, I don't know what to predict, because, see, you could have the governor give him this assurance, the Republican committee, the assurance, and then at the end try to change his mind. But still, somehow, the ultimate power should be in the President of the United States. Okay, the ultimate power should be in the President of the United States. But this is a big deal, and it's huge because neither you or I have the ability to comprehend how much planning and how much money and how much construction and how much training and all that. And also some of these, to have 50,000 people, you know, in that state for the convention, in some of these hotels have been closed or whatever.
You're saying in August, even in August, though, when the
when they're scheduled their convention,
when the convention is scheduled to open,
like 5 days or something. Yeah.
Do they really pack people inside one auditorium or something?
I hope so. Where do you get your energy?
Or you do it online?
No.
Could it be the fact they kind of dismiss it? Everybody go home. Let's do it online.
That would be a failure, it would be foolish, it would be un-American, and that's exactly what the radical left will probably do for the Democratic convention. They don't want Joe Biden to be exposed too much, you know, and have to say too much off the cuff. Now, so they're talking about, oh, well, we want to be careful, so we'll just do it, you know, like with Zoom or something. Wait up, Jack. So, President Trump needs people, likes people, wants people, the people want him. The only energy comes like his rallies. Are you kidding me? There's never been an empty seat at a Trump rally. And I mean, period. I'd like to, but I'm not man enough to stand in line for 5 hours or something to get into a Trump rally, okay? And they don't have Trump rallies in California because this is, New York and California is terrible. The Republican Party is starting to grow again in California because they see that Newsom and Garcetti, our mayor, have just trying to destroy our state.
By the same time of the last election, though,
yes, sir.
On the 16th, 2016.
Yes.
November 8th. In the month of August.
Yeah.
Have both parties held their convention?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know what month both of those were, but I know this: the Democrat and Republican had these humongous things where, you know, Hillary was still fighting it out a little bit with Biden, and then she had all of her glorious moments in whatever, unbelievable, and then Trump. I mean, it was like wild and you know. So see, the Trump supporters, our radical left people, do everything to intimidate and shut you up, but they're there with their votes, and they're committed to, not to Trump, they're committed to freedom in the Constitution. I'm not committed to Trump. I'm committed to the Constitution.
What is
He's the only man right now that's protecting us.
What is your last check record about the supporting rate of both Donald Trump and Joe Biden?
Yeah, well, I think that's a nice question, but let me just say this. They keep putting out polls and this and that, and like one of these polls came out, they said they trust Joe Biden more than Trump with China. Well, Joe Biden's owned by China. he came back with $1.5 billion that his son got when his son went on Air Force Two, the vice president plane, to China and worked out a deal with the
Is
government.
that serious?
You don't think so?
I haven't
China
heard about
owns
it.
Biden in the family. They own him.
They bought him already or what?
Before, when his son went to the Ukraine, got put on this board of directors where he knows nothing about it, was getting like $80,000 a month from the Ukraine, and he knew nothing about it. And then he went on the plane with America's plane to China and Biden was over there for some reasons. And then his son comes back with $1 billion invested in a small investment firm he was a part of. He knows nothing about investments either. And then another $500 million came in later. If anybody's soft on China, they own them. They own Biden.
Has anybody started an investigation about
It's been in the news for a couple
the junior Biden and corruption?
Oh, yeah. In fact, right now, Ukraine is investigating that. The government in Ukraine, we have Biden, you talk about quid pro quo, right there sitting saying, he says, well, we've got 6 hours, they've got to fire, because a Ukrainian investigator was investigating Burisma, the company, and Hunter Biden, okay? Hunter Biden was in the Navy, he got thrown out for drug use, he's had a dishonorable life. And then Trump said, Biden said, gotta be careful on that, well, they better fire that investigator because he's looking into Burisma and his son. I leave in 6 hours, and if they don't fire that investigator, then I'm not going to allow America to provide the $1 billion that I'm over here to deliver to them. So he just threatened them to hold back $1 billion, and it's right in her face. You can look at him say it, okay? And then he laughs and he says, "Guess what? They fired him." So I have a problem.
like a remote operation.
Totally. Anyway, right now, America and China, there's tensions, and there would be no tension if Biden was president because he'd just bow down and give America up, in my opinion. And President Trump will stand up for our freedoms and our protection.
When you say there's no poll for anybody.
Oh, there's a lot
right?
of polls coming out every day. But it's how you ask the questions. We are way too early to believe any poll. And don't forget, the day before the election, November 7th in 2016, it was 93% that Hillary would win the election. Guess what? She didn't. It was 93% she'd win it.
Oh, yeah.
So all of these pollsters
You mean 2016?
Looked like fools with their predictions.
Yeah.
They were. Because, see, I believed Trump was going to win. I thought he probably wouldn't, but I believed America would wake up and fight for our freedom and our Constitution, and I don't think we could have had a worse president than Hillary Clinton. Now, I have no problem with a woman being a president or a vice president. Right now, Biden's in the corner where the great, really good interviewer on the black radio station said, you've got to commit to a black woman vice president, and you have to have a black agenda. Now, what's a black agenda? We've never had a white agenda, a Chinese agenda. We haven't had any race agenda. So that is really bad. And there's the two black ladies, I know some great Republican black women that I'd love to be somewhere in there, okay? Candace Owens and a whole bunch of them. But now Biden's in the corner. He's already committed that a woman's going to be vice president. That may or may not work to their advantage. I don't think it's going to work to anybody's advantage. And you bring African American, and there's two of them, and neither of which I have much honor and respect for reasons that I think are reasonable. I don't know when they're going to announce his decision, but he's in a corner in Bernie Sanders and the radical left. They forced Biden now is Bernie Sanders' mouth. It's going to be as progressive, as anti-American. He wants to raise all the taxes, wants to get rid of a border wall.
But Bernie Sanders is far away from being able to replace Joe Biden.
No, but his agenda, his ideology has been thrust upon Biden, and he has to go along with it. And he's going along with it. Look, there's a ton of Democrats that don't want to be socialists. They're just not standing up with their mouth as they should. So it's a big serious
Very good,
problem.
very good, very good, very good. And
Pray for
next
a good-
thing, next thing is that when I say there's no pull for anybody though. But right now you look at
yeah.
the newspapers and reporting
Yeah.
though. How do you read about Donald Trump getting any more chances, or Joe Biden getting any more chances so far, to your judgment?
Well, I get the LA Times 4 days a week. I'm going to cancel my subscription because I've never found one thing in there that was respectful to President Trump. So it's just a rag, okay? It's just a pro-socialist rag, and I don't need to see. The only reason I have it is to look at the obituaries, which I like to give respect to quality people that have passed away. It's just too early. I mean, anything, 90% at least of any news article or commentary is fake news, period.
All right. Anyway, let's take a short moment out. When we come back, I'll share with you my biggest concern about Donald Trump's presidency and versus our news media. Stay with us, please.
Everything is expected and straight. It's like seeing John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host English News here in the morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with my dear friend Ken Hemming. It is my concern for quite a long time that I recall at the very beginning of his presidency, I gave comment about his tweeting.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you did.
Tweeting. I did give a lot of time
Right.
of creating. I recall saying that, well, that's not a presidential style to be personally tweeting on the social media.
Do you know why he tweets?
Yeah. Later,
course
I
you do.
learned with the media, with the mainstream media, almost a landslide crashing on one side, though.
The first
He
100
had-
days, 93% was negative
He
media.
had nowhere to
Right. Nowhere to go, except
Nowhere to go.
directly to the people.
yeah.
And that's what
So
he does.
that explains yours already?
That's it. Yeah, he uses this tweet thing. Now, what's happening right now is huge. Okay, Twitter. Okay, because he can go right to the people, and he has millions and millions of followers on that. And every tweet is quoted by the bad media as being some rotten tweet that doesn't deserve respect. That type of thing. But now Twitter. Twitter, Facebook, these Silicon Valley things, they are radical leftists. They are radical leftists, and they on two tweets that Trump had about mail-in voting, saying that it was just inviting fraud, which is 100% truth and verifiable by past elections. Okay, and now they have CNN basically fact-checking Trump's tweets, and they put a little blue thing on there that identified it as maybe disinformation. What Trump said, and the main guy that's judging whether his tweets are right or not has absolutely officially called him a Nazi, called his followers worthless scum, and is just a radical hater. So you have that, and now Trump has said, okay, they don't do anything about the Democrats saying radically incorrect things. So right now Trump's at war with that. I believe there's going to form an organization in the administration to vet like Facebook and Twitter, and he could destroy Twitter in a second. The only reason Twitter exists is because of Trump.
Do you recall that during
They're evil.
During the early days of his presidency,
Yeah.
there was one woman who became very famous,
Okay.
very well known at the time, holding the head of Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Do you recall that?
Yeah, that red-haired comedian. She just said that Trump and his supporters within the last couple of days should all be dead. She's just said that.
She's
Evil.
out again.
Yeah, she's out again.
she's out again.
She's a buffoon.
Right.
She's evil.
Why
That wasn't
would
funny, holding up.
why would our Constitution allow people to do that?
Well, I guess it's, if she threatened to do that to the president, that would be like attempted murder or something. But here, sometimes the freedom of speech has issues.
Here in the country, if I say or if I write, Ken, I'm going to kill you,
Yeah.
I go to jail.
Well,
All right?
if there's a threat,
I get myself in
directly
trouble.
a threat from you to me on violence, then you would be in trouble.
Yeah, sure, of
Right,
course.
right.
Yeah. If I show myself with a picture
Yeah.
holding your head though,
Yeah.
and there's a blood dripping,
Yeah. Oh.
so
Well, see, try
would
it.
I go free man?
Try it in Russia. Try it in China. Hold up their leaders' heads like that. You're dead in a day. You're gone.
No. You don't have to do that.
Well,
you don't
no,
have
I'm
to.
saying, I'm
you don't
saying
have to
you
do
can't
that much.
do it in other countries.
You say a disagreement, all right?
No, that's fine. But I'm
That's
saying,
enough.
I
mean,
I
if
know.
you want to die,
Yeah.
just say a disagreement. That's enough.
That's fine. That's true. That's true.
That's
but
enough.
anyway, so no,
Right.
that woman.
I'm talking about we do give freedom of speech
Yeah.
by Constitution, but my question is that do we give that much?
Well, that woman's career went in the toilet, as it deserves to be. And there's people that are saying things. I can't believe humans can say the nasty things they say, like about President Trump's wife, about the press secretary who was phenomenal, about all of these things, about his son. They say evil commentary. And so when we started with 16 other Republicans trying to run for president, they were all picking on Trump. And so he didn't start things, but when he got picked on and they're calling him names, he just comes back and just wipes you out because he's not submissive, okay? Way back when Romney was running, he was a submissive. He never said anything aggressive against Obama and his failed policies.
And also,
he was
it's
the worst
not,
candidate we've ever
and
had.
also, it's not only Donald Trump's tragedy.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy of United States.
Of the United States.
That many, about 95%, 93% of the mainstream media goes in a landslide to the other side, though.
So what'll be interesting, which I believe Trump will be elected, if he is, then what does the media do for the next 4 years? You can't just keep trying to impeach him every 2 weeks. You just can't.
In other words, if President Trump does win his next term, though, I can hardly imagine this media thing will go on for another 4 years.
I agree with your intuition, but evil does not convert to reasonable. And they are evil. Like that lady, that Maddox, okay, Maddow, on MSNBC. She had this whole big thing about that One American News, which I love, this new, smaller network. I love it. They're really good. They just talk straight. They talk the truth. They don't have a lot of vitality, but they have a lot of wisdom. And no, because they kind of talk monotonously. But
now you look at Donald Trump, there is not a single day you do not see a tweet.
Well, it's his only defense.
Yeah.
He can't shoot you. So it's his way of communicating with
I told
the
you.
individuals.
I told you that I start.
Tweets.
I told you that I start to understand
Why
he does that.
Right. And if Twitter starts harassing President Trump, because it's supposed to be a communication forum, but if they start trying to block him, then it's no longer a free communication forum. It's a publishing thing that is rejecting him.
And this morning
he
I
could
heard
put them out of business.
This morning I heard a legal argument.
Yeah.
Saying that it all depends that the social platform, though, how you claim your declare yourself. Either if you declare yourself as a publisher.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Or you declare yourself
as a forum.
only as a platform.
Right. Thank you. You're perfect. Thank you.
Right. So that I believe this is exactly where it holds the answer.
Well, Twitter was supposed to be a platform, but now it's a publisher because they're showing that there's evil stuff put on there by radical leftists on Twitter, and they don't censor that. But nice.
If you claim yourself as a publisher, though, you have to claim liability.
Well, that's right. And they're not classified there. Right now, they're still a platform. That will change if they keep harassing President Trump. It will change. The power is with the president.
I know I'm a person that I can almost compromise with everything. But I understand totally that you have your freedom of speech, but you do not have a freedom to hold somebody's head.
No, I agree with that.
Like that.
I really think she should have been arrested.
Just a way too much.
Yeah, I know. Well, and the thing is, even now, our Department of Justice and that, they're not pursuing justice on things that really are bad.
Even if this person is not your president.
Yeah, sure. Right.
Right? Just a regular person.
Right. Like us.
I even see toilet rolls.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
With Donald Trump on it.
Right. I know.
Those are too much, man.
Well, and then they, it's just, Jack,
those are really too much.
I'm speechless because my heart hurts so much.
There's at least another
humanity.
human being.
Right.
You print another human being on your toilet roll?
Well, one thing good about what this pandemic or whatever has caused is it has shown clearly the true depth of hatred, blind hatred that the radical, see, they're not a liberal Democrat. Liberals, fine. These are leftists. That's all Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. I want to bring that in. I've had it in here before. There's like 12 of them. I read them. You'll recognize exactly what these radical leftists are doing. And on Memorial Day, these radical leftists demeaned our military, said nasty things about our military, and said Memorial Day is all just celebrating white supremacy, which is baloney. It's just... Oh, I lose my breath, okay, when I talk about the evil statements about Memorial Day, thanking
the celebration
our warriors
of our tradition of
and our freedom.
Remember our men and women fallen.
Right, I know.
That's the whole thing.
I know, and they don't like it because they don't think America's worth dying for. And I will be happy to die for America today.
For generation after generation.
That's right.
And that's a tradition we celebrate.
Yeah, go back 250 years, so that's about 12 generations. There's 20 years is a generation, basically. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I still believe the mainstream prevail. When I say mainstream, I say the thinking here.
Yeah.
People, of the average people. The average people. Let's wait until November. I'm getting more and more confident about Donald Trump, who will win this election. All right. So, well, thank you very much, my dear friends. And with my friend Ken Hemming, we covered quite a lot of stuff. We wish that our next show still do this in the same style, that to cover as many subjects as possible. Thank you for watching.
I love your viewers. Thank you, Jack.